history of jet propulsion, its development and advancement in the world of aeronautics. Now, for its development, the idea of what would be known today as a jet engine was generally conceptualized in the early 1900s, and there were earlier designs and patents for pulse jets, etc. But what is known as the first true working jet engine, or at least a prototype, was developed by the English scientist Sir Frank Whittle in the mid to late 1930s. However, the British Air Ministry at the time dismissed the idea, showing little to no interest. However, at the same time, very similar, German scientist Hans von Oheim was performing jet research of his own and creating his own prototypes, and in partnership with the Heinkel to bring the first ever jet aircraft to take flight. And they are two engineers whose work should not be forgotten. Aircraft, as mentioned before. With the development of rocketry and pulse jets, it was only a matter of time before engineering wonders of jets were finally incorporated into aircraft design for flight. Now, the first ever official jet aircraft to take flight was the Heinkel 178 on August 27, 1939, and coincidentally, tomorrow would have been its 83rd anniversary of the first ever jet flight. It only flew for 5 minutes at its first time, almost a mirror of the right below its 12-second flight. However, similarly to the British, the idea was generally relatively dismissed and unimpressed by the German Air Ministry. Ironically, the Italians, exactly 1 year later, on August 27, 1940, would develop the Caproni, Capini, and C-1, which was actually believed to be the world's first ever jet, as the Heinkel was a secret project kept under wraps. However, this used what is known as a motor jet, which is similar to a prop or reciprocating engine. However, it powers a jet engine. And then the third ever jet aircraft to take flight was the Heinkel 280, another advancement made off the one motor. Even after the Heinkel 178 and before, the German Air Ministry had been developing its own jet prototype, the Me-262, probably the most famous of the entire Second World War, and one of the most that really saw combat during it, and it took its first flight in 1941. However, the fourth ever aircraft to take flight, after the two Heinkel and the Italian Caproni C-1, was the Gloucester E-28-39, which could have been the first ever jet aircraft had the British Air Ministry not dismissed its idea. And then soon after 1943, the first and only Allied jet aircraft to see service, the Gloucester Meteor. On the topic of aircraft, as jet engines and their integration into aircraft systems became more advanced and necessary, especially for military, only a matter of time before they were incorporated into jet airliners and aircraft. The first being the de Havilland Comet in 1949. However, this aircraft faced quite many issues with its design flaws, pressurization, etc. But it was a necessary advancement for today's aircraft, which are almost all jet powered. And as most know, the sound barrier was broken by American pilot Chuck Yeager in October of 1947 in the Bell X-1, which is a rocket-powered aircraft. However, in yet another British aviation-based blunder, the Miles M52, a prototype developed by Woodall and his team, took a jet engine opposed to the rocket Bell X-1 to break the sound barrier. However, as they soon came close to finishing the prototype, the operation was shut down by the British government, being deemed too dangerous. Now, the comparison between the two engines, a reciprocal engine or piston engine, which typically like a car engine would, injection of fuel, compression, combustion, exhaust. However, a jet engine, the air intake is so great that it doesn't require spark plugs or fuel injection, and as its pressure builds up, so does its combustion and its exhaust. However, the comparison to the two, jet engines are obviously the faster and more efficient, as there are many variations. However, there are variations such as turboprops and turbofans. And as a synopsis, the importance and necessity of jet aircraft and their engines cannot be underestimated in today's society, as they are so necessary for our infrastructure today, whether it be through travel, goods and services, or etc. They are truly a wonder of engineering and very important to aerodynamic research and aerospace engineering.